DNC Chair Thom Perez is working to have an absolutely overwhelming victory against Trump, one that can't be disputed. Will he be able to pull it off? Check this out. Leave your comments, ding the bell, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel. 100 days out or 99 days out from the election, but really, early voting starts in, I think, 55 days in a lot of states. Chairman of the DNC, Thom Perez, the former U.S. Secretary of Labor, is with us. Democrats.org, of course, the DNC's website. You can tweet him at Thom Perez. Secretary Perez, or Chairman Perez, welcome back to the program. Where are we at right now? We've got. I'm looking at a whole bunch of different stories here that really concern me. Several different cities, we've got people saying that the mail has been slowed down substantially, and yet people want to vote by mail. You've got Donald Trump promoting this hoax. We have you were the former labor secretary. We just ran out of unemployment insurance. We don't know where that's going. We've got, the convention coming in a couple of weeks. John Lewis line in state. There's so much to talk about. Where do we start?
Yes. Well, I would probably start with John Lewis because, he's a hero to me, a hero to you, and a hero to so many across this country. And I was working for Senator Kennedy in the 90s, and I had the privilege of helping to draft the original version of what became the Shepherd Bird Hate Crime Prevention Act, which took 14 years to pass, by the way. And when we were looking for the original co-sponsor in the House, Senator Kennedy, the liberal lion of the Senate, said, well, that's an easy question to answer. And I remember sitting in a meeting with Senator Kennedy and Congressman Lewis, and I'm a 30-something staffer there, just sort of pinching myself because I'm in the presence of just two remarkable leaders. And, John Lewis said voting is the most powerful nonviolent tool we have to create a more perfect union. And all the points you raised, Tom, in your run-up to your question for me are true. We've got the most dangerous president in American history. I used to run the Civil Rights Division. I saw voter suppression when I ran it. I sued many states. This president's trying to do voter suppression on steroids. We know that, but we've been preparing for that for some time. We have the most, I think, muscular voter protection operation that we've ever had. And it's not just we at the DNC and the Biden campaign, but it's the Democratic ecosystem. We've had a lot of success moving forward. We still have a ton more work to do. I don't deny that at all. And it's going to involve both organizing, educating, litigating, all of the above and then some. But I am confident that we can do this, Tom. You look at the last 3 years, and what they've had in common is Democrats have been turning out at scale. We've been showing up because we know that our democracy as we know it is on the line. And we do have 99 days left, although you correctly point out that voting starts earlier, September 14th in Arizona, for instance. So we're very, very focused on making sure people know their rights, making sure that people have choice. If you want to vote in person, we need to make sure you can do that. If you want to vote early, we want to maximize the number of early days. If you want to vote absentee, vote by mail, we want to make sure that those systems are in place. And that's why we're working with state authorities, with local authorities. Our lawsuit in Wisconsin is still pending. We helped 142,000 people in the April primary exercise their right to vote as a result of that litigation. So we're using every tool in our toolbox. And the most important thing I would say to people is remember John Lewis. He gave us our marching orders. Get out there and vote. Get your neighbors and friends who are eligible to vote and help them to vote as well.
Sir, we're talking with Thom Perez, the chair of the DNC. As I'm guessing you probably know, in 1876, in the election of 1876, the Democrat Samuel Tilden won the majority vote in the United States and also won a majority of the Electoral College votes. But he did not become president. Instead, the Republican Rutherford B. Hayes became president. And in part, the reason why was because although Tilden had a majority of both popular votes and Electoral College votes, he hadn't hit the threshold of 50% plus one of the Electoral College because you had 3 southern states that were then occupied by the Union Army that whose governments refused to certify the vote. Plus the state of Oregon, which was occupied by the Klan at the time. They refused to certify the vote. And as a result of those 4 states refusing to certify the vote, under the 12th Amendment, the vote gets thrown to the U.S. House of Representatives, and each state has 1 vote. And that vote is determined not by the congressional delegation. That vote is determined by a vote of the House and Senate of each one of those states. So the Michigan House of Representatives and the Michigan Senate, where everybody has 1 vote equally, combined would vote, for example, and they're controlled by Republicans, even though they have a Democratic governor. The governor has no say in this. And so if this were to happen, if Florida and Texas were to, for example, refuse to certify the vote and it gets thrown into the House, you've got roughly 30 states that have Republican-controlled legislatures that would vote for Donald Trump. Do you guys have a contingency plan for this? I've been hearing about this for almost 4 months from Republican operatives that I still know from when I worked in Washington, D.C. I wrote an op-ed about it a couple months ago. I don't see anybody talking about it. Am I in crazy land here, or is this something that you guys are taking seriously?
Well, we take everything seriously, Tom. But I think the most important thing that we can do, and one of the concerns I have, quite frankly, is Donald Trump wants everybody to be in the fetal position, fearful, so they don't get out there and vote. That's why he's denigrating vote by mail. That's why he's doing all these voter ID laws. They have a $20 million voter suppression budget. And you know what? He tried to do that in 2018. He tried to do that in 2019, and it did not work. And I want to make sure that people are understanding that when you get out there and vote, it makes a huge difference. And when our people get out there and vote, we will win. The thing I learned from Ted Kennedy, and the thing that Joe Biden understands that Donald Trump doesn't, is the politics of arithmetic. Addition beats subtraction any day of the week. Joe Biden's base of support continues to expand. Suburban voters who were with Donald Trump in 2016, overwhelmingly with Joe Biden. Senior citizens who went for Trump in 2016 by about 8 points. Now they're for Biden by 5 or 6 points. Young people who came out in a much bigger force in 2018 are continuing that momentum, and we're doing really well there. Our investments in African American, Latino, Native American, Asian American communities, I think, have been unprecedented over the last 3-4 years.
That's all great stuff, Chairman Perez. But respectfully, it sounds to me like you're saying that you guys don't have a plan to deal with the 12th Amendment challenge.
Well, I don't think there's going to be a 12th Amendment challenge, Tom. We have a plan.
Okay.
There's about 15 different contingencies that people have talked about. But I think the most important response to this, and I sometimes worry that we
win overwhelmingly.
Come to me and say, Tom, the biggest response is to win and win overwhelmingly. And our battlefield is expanding. We're investing in Texas right now because the last 3-4 polls I've seen have shown basically a dead heat. Biden up by a couple, which is a dead heat. We have tremendous opportunity in Arizona. Not only to win for Biden, but for Mark Kelly, and to flip the state House and the state Senate. Our battlefields are expanding. Our arithmetic is expanding because we have a coalition that we're building of hardcore Democrats, independents, Party of Lincoln Republicans. And remember, the Party of Lincoln, and you are a great historian, was once the party of civil rights. The party of Trump is the party of extremism. I might be one of the only people in America who's been past the Rutherford Hayes Museum, which is in Ohio. So when you mentioned him, I was smiling about that. But I think the most important thing we can do, and again, our voter protection operation is unlike anything that we have seen before. And the ecosystem, whether it's Eric Holder's group, Stacey Abrams' group, other groups that have emerged, I think we're working together like never before. And that's how we succeed. That's how we succeeded in Wisconsin in April. You may recall, Tom, Republicans tried to steal that race for state Supreme Court by weaponizing the pandemic. It didn't work because We out-hustled them. The party chair there is awesome, guy named Ben Wickler, no stranger to your show and to your listeners, a great leader, and we worked hand in hand. And, those Supreme Court races are usually, the last 2 or 3 have been won or lost by about 10 to 20,000 votes. We won by 140,000 votes. We kicked butt in that race. We out-hustled them in Wisconsin. And you look in Michigan, you look in Pennsylvania, you look across the country. That's what we have to do, folks. John Lewis gave us our marching orders. Get out there and vote. Make sure everyone you know who's eligible does the same thing. That's how we take
you're singing my song.
back.
That's been my mantra for some time here. That and show up and wake people the hell up. Yep.